kakhulu mara siyathemba ingoma zinibambile umoya ongcwele wehlela phezukweni ingoma engayiculi ilethi thina sinje wakwalibona ijuba linjani lapha phambili yekani nihamba nicula nje singalibeka la ijuba ngiyakutshela ungayiyeka le ngoma uhamishe phela nje.
He is the MC of all MCs, that is, father of all MCs. If you attend any choral music event, you don't find him there, then you should know that program is not proper. I'm talking about the one and only Mr. Mongezi Boloshe, and this is Grand Piano Truth with Sia. Mongezi,
I'm humbled to be part of you and thanks for having me.
Yes. You know, bakhona abantu abanga introducewayo bayaziwa. There's no need to introduce them. Like Mr. Mongezi Boloshe, there's no need to introduce him. But there is those upcoming artists as figure choral music. Mandunika chance for us introduce.
Igama lami nginguMongezi Boloshe. So I was told by my mom,
yes,
and I believe it. And Mongezi Boloshe, all the way from Davidton, born and bred in Davidton. I'm a qualified pedagogue. I'm a teacher by profession, having being a school principal.
Yes.
But from 2015, I joined the district Gauteng East in the Department of Education.
Okay.
Ever since then, I'm serving in the capacity as the Deputy Chief Education Specialist. I'm a school inspector.
Yes.
So we call ourselves in the office. I'm a God-fearing person. I'm a member and a congregant of the Roman Catholic Church, having been an altar saver to being the youth member and the conductor of the youth choir. I'm a very simple person.
Yes.
I love choral music, having sung in different choirs. The conductor while I was still a teacher at Sakile Primary School in Ratanda.
Okay.
So I gained accustomed and developed passion for choral music at Awen, where I was conducted by Ubutke Gabriel Komete, who was our conductor.
Yes.
And into yomculo ke into endikhula naye ngakumbe enkonzweni nasesikolweni ke to sing. I matriculated at Hulwazi Secondary School in Davidton. We had a quartet esasibuza phaa kwesasikolweni kuthiwa iMessi. With that music, my life is empty.
Yeah.
So umculo, not specifically choral music, even gospel music. Ndingumntu ke who's close to God, and I meditate through umculo, and umculo ke indlela engikwazi ukuthetha nayo kuThixo, and be able to find solace and comfort at times in times of trouble through choral music, gospel music, and any kind of music. So in the enomculo I cannot miss
you are
it.
musician.
So that's how then. But to be where I am as a program director, I'm very grateful to Iqawe because that's where I taught public speaking through readings as Iqawe. And when I was at school, I was active in the debating society. And finally, when I matriculated, I was the chairperson of the debating society. So I think the love for public speaking grew up at Iqawe and was extended to school. And to a point that when I was at the college, I was the member of the SRC, responsible for arts and culture in Tifton College of Education. Then when I joined the union, South African Democratic Teachers Union, firstly, I was the branch executive member, Heidelberg branch. I became the treasurer. Then when I moved back to my hometown, Davidton, I became the member of the PEC, but I was responsible for culture. Then when I was elected to the regional committee, I became the sports arts and culture convener. Then same year, I was elected into the provincial executive committee, which I served for almost 11 years as the sports arts and culture convener. Then I served in the national SACOM, which is sports arts and culture committee of the South African Democratic Teachers. That is where then I gained prominence in terms of program directing, because I was program directing while being the convener of sports arts and culture. Again, responsible for choral music in terms of organizing. So I think that's where then the love for choral music and the exposure expanded. And to this date, then I was introduced to the bigger stage, your National Choir Festival, then different provincial music association from Mpumalanga, Eastern Cape, Western Cape, and I went to Free State the other year. So through the length and breadth of the country, I've been given the opportunity, and I'm humbled by the confidence that was shown. The last one was Swaziland that I went to program director. I'm going back there to run a program directors workshop next month on the 27 and 28. So I've been invited just to conduct a workshop. So I'm really humbled, and I think I don't see myself as a prominent person, but I see myself as a servant of God who's there using that podium as a pulpit to articulate and express and evangelize, because I'm a staunch Christian, and I believe songs that I lead there, most of them, if you could realize, are Christian songs. And to me, it's one way of doing my ministry as a program director. If I may tell you a secret, I was supposed to be a Catholic priest. I ran away. But God being God and was so merciful to me, I became a teacher, which is one way of Fundis. So I would say, by and large, that is the brief of who I am. I'm a father of the 3 children. I'm somebody who's passionate about education and who's the servant of the people, who wants the learners to succeed. So most of my time I spend in projects that are ensuring that our youth gets an opportunity that we got from our teachers to be able to find themselves, expand on the talents that God is giving them, and to become responsible citizens and occupy a critical and pivotal role in the development of this country and themselves and their communities as well as their families. So I'm in that space of education, but not only inclined or confined to the classroom, but to let learners be able to find themselves outside even the classroom through extra and mural activities, So that is my passion. I'm there to embrace people, and I see myself as a philanthropist to enjoy and appreciate the gift of life, And I want to belong to structures, and I belong to structures where people have got ideas to develop our people. And that is why when I was in the union, it was about how do we ensure that there's total emancipation of our people. So that space, that is why at times I say, when you look at music as part of the liberating mechanism of our people, you can't divorce it from politics, because one way or the other, you see music as a ground where people are able to articulate and express their feelings and articulate and start a discourse about certain aspects that affect your life, so that you address certain social ills or even educational matters that you want to put across to your society. But that's me. That's me, I hope. That's the weakness about me in all my interview. That's the weakness I have, because being a teacher, you just go to town. My apologies.
Yeah, promote no sebule like there's an up and down campaigns everywhere. We're looking forward 29 May 2024, and it looks like this elections are very competitive. What's your take on that one?
Look, I so wish our people would, clearly and honestly focus on what this country needs. Where we are as communities, as different families, who are forming part of the fiber of our community, which in the ultimate end translate to the nation, to say, how do we deal with issues of poverty, issues of crime, issues of unemployment, without necessarily looking at the government? What is it that we initiate ourselves with the expertise that we've acquired over time, so that we begin to empower ourselves and not deal away with this element of dependence, but to ask ourselves as to what is it that I will do for my country. Yes, we are going to vote, but after the vote, what then? Do we understand our responsibility over above the demands that we want to make to political parties that we're going to vote for? But we have a responsibility as citizens first of this country, because I think we have a very critical role to play where we are as communities, as different families, who are forming part of the fiber of our community, which in the ultimate end translate to the nation, to say, how do we deal with issues of poverty, issues of crime, issues of unemployment, without necessarily looking at the government? What is it that we initiate ourselves with the expertise that we've acquired over time, so that we begin to empower ourselves and not deal away with this element of dependence, but to ask ourselves as to what is it that I will do for my country to develop more than I look at what the government can do for me in my family. Where I am, what is it that I can do with my niece, my nephews, my grandchildren, my relatives? What is it that we can do? I mean, talking to them, about the norms and standards, the behavior, patterns, and understanding their frustration, but beginning to also understand what are their dreams and goals. And ask yourself, what role at this level of the family that I can play, and how can I assist them? My time sitting with them in different subjects, in different topics, so that they begin to understand. I think it will create a type of a nation that is responsible. Before we can make demands, before we can, cast negative aspersions of people who are leading, but to begin to understand ourselves as who we are. To say imfundiso nenkulusi yala before you join other people and join the chorus of complaining. What is it that we're doing in our communities? How do we impact positively to the lives, and how to become role models? First yalapho uzalwa khona, ecaweni apho khona, the youth, the society, amongst your friends, amongst your family. So that when we go out, we are able to say, let's expand the good things that we have learned from our families, and to emphasize the importance of a family. Because we have disintegrated families. Some, in schools, we find learners who are from child-headed families. Some are from broken homes. Divorces have affected this kid. But what role can we play with the assistance of the different departments from like social development? How do we assist to ensure that we've got stability in our communities? Who are going to find themselves, beziphushela kuma-drugs. Sikhona. Ngabikho abantwana bathi ndine-degree 5 years and 7. When there are projects that we can start esikoleni bancedise abanye abantwana ezicaweni in our social setup babe ne-role. So I think getting to the vote, we must have that mindset of saying we're going to vote there, but we don't forget where we're coming from, who liberated us to be where we are, and how do we take and sustain the gains that have been made so far, so that we don't go with this election frenzy of people who just emerge. There's a proliferation of different political parties, and all of them promises us, heaven and earth. But we know there are people that are there who are genuine, who are tried and tested, that we can depend on, that we can, hold accountable, that they are visible, not only during the election, that they are there. We have seen the difference that they have made. Some services that we never had. Some of the learners got bursaries. Some people are where they are now in terms of their careers, having pursued their careers, because of the sacrifices and the contribution and the mindset that some people in government had and landed us where we are. And I think going to the election, therefore, must not lose sight of the fact that who we are, where we're coming from, who liberated us, and all the challenges that are faced with us, and we join them so that we're able to have a total resolution of the challenges that are there.
You've mentioned that you were in a union sometime, and I know you grew up in that time where politics was a talk of the day. How can you describe today's politics?
I begin to say those of us who were fortunate, when I was a member of the South African Democratic Teachers and being a union, being the Provincial Executive Committee member, we were fortunate with political education that was conducted by the South African School, South African Communist Party, where we were taught to begin to understand the contradictions that are there in every social life, be it economy, be it education, to be able to, at all material times invoke our analytical tools and be able to analyze things, not by looking at them, but to begin to understand the ideology, the rationale behind them, and why things exist as they are. And to me, politics means you understand that it is a contested terrain. We are there because of different ideologies. Some of us born in them, some of us were developed there. So politics is something that you cannot wish away. And being in the sector where I am, education becomes also a contested terrain. Because as you educate an African child, and some of the nationalities within this country, they are educating their children. What is it? What values do we entrench in them? How do we build them? So that when they become part of the political sphere, they're able to understand. Because I dare say it will be suicidal for our kids to forget where we're coming from.
Exactly.
Because as indigenous people and as natives of this country, we have a responsibility of reversing all the ills, the social ills and political damage that was made to our people. And we can't forget that. And I, for one, we are unapologetic about issues of land, issues of, economic freedom in our lifetime are non-negotiables. And we can't therefore be seen because we want to impress certain people and we forget where we are because we speak their language. We need to take care of ourselves. And like I earlier on indicated or alluded to the fact that we need to say how to empower ourselves in our different communities where we are. Much as we have people who are successful, which is something good, who are living in affluent areas, in the estates, but we don't forget where we're coming from. Our fathers and mothers, our sisters who are not as successful as we are, we cannot forget them. So we need, therefore, to ensure that we prepare the second generation and the third generation, so that when this current generation is gone, we are assured of a brighter future. People are not going to forget that they are, first and foremost, the Africans. Before we belong to the human race, we are Africans born in Africa, and therefore we are entitled to what God has given to ancestors, which was stolen to us. It's a known secret, and people want to shy away from that. That this land was stolen and blood was spread here. Our ancestors were forcefully deprived of their rightful land, the fields, the livestock, and today we are finding ourselves as foreigners in our own native country. That is the truth that we need to educate our children, that much as they acquire education, they must not look back and look down on Africans first, whether from Congo, whether from Ghana. We are Africans. And this thing of instilling divisions among African people, it's a biggest and serious disease that we need to obliterate from our minds, because it's part of the colonization of the mind. So we need to decolonize the mind, to first look at ourselves as brothers and sisters, as Africa, like they do. The Europeans do that, and Asians, when they come here, they look at the pigmentation and associate themselves. And that's why they're staying in affluent places, and we find ourselves in squalors, in squatter camps. Look at the township in terms of development. And one child asked me, is it by God's design that whites, they stay in suburbs and we stay in townships? And I said, no, it's human design. And that tells me that the parents or the society where that child comes from did not relate the history of where we're coming from as a people and how we find ourselves here. And what is it that we need to correct, so that these children don't believe that they are a race that is inferior to others. They are a curse that was imposed by God. So to me, politics are more of what was taken from us and the sufferings that our people go through every day, and the truth that everybody don't want to face, that this land was taken through forceful and through a barren of a gun. And that is why you find that your brothers and sisters can succeed, because they are made not to succeed. Even the capitalist system that is governing this country, that makes us to be more poor and to forever be indebted to whites. Because we owe whites. You want to get married, you want to be educated, you must get a loan. You owe a white person. You want to buy a house, you must get a loan, house loan, you owe a white person. You want to buy a car, you must get a car loan, you owe a white person. So why is it that we owe all the time? And when you talk about us having to forgive, us having to be part of the Rainbow Nation, the victims are the ones that are expected to forgive. We also expected, over and above what was stolen from us, we must forgive. And the people that did all these things are not even prepared. They're not even, and not all of them. There are few white counterparts, that are prepared to be part of the change. But truth be told, the majority of them still feel they are entitled to this country, and we are not. And this thing of the superior race, which when I studied Hitler's history, which saw the white race as superior race over other races, and at some stage were referred to as animals, it has to end. And the only way to end is for us to understand ourselves as a people. And I think it's important that we stop these issues or this thing of watching, Western movies. We must come up with our own movies to tell our own story, so that our children cannot be led astray, so that they can begin to be proud of themselves. Books that were written by Steve Biko, Robert Sobiko, all our African writers, so that they understand when one book that I read, that I write what I want, by Steve Biko, the issues of black consciousness, where we need those things, because we're losing ourselves. You can check how many people who wish not to be black. And why is that? It's because we have lost our identity as Africans, and not South African, as Africans. And that's why we feel inferior, and people go for bleaching and all these things that they do to change their pigmentation because they believe they are inferior to other grades. And I think we need to a particular, structured guidance in education to make our children to be proud of who they are as Africans, and to be able, you see, the saddest thing, I'm not against, us taking our learners to former modesty school. I'm not against that. But the question is that we need to revisit. What caused the exodus of African learners to white schools?
Yeah.
Something went terrible wrong. And this is the question we don't want to visit. Why are we inferior of ourselves? Why are we running away from our African schools, township schools?
But even our leaders are staying with us.
It's fine. Look is a free country, but I'm saying the reality that we are faced with now is that those schools are overcrowded.
Exactly.
And learners cannot be placed because we think they are the best. But look at most of the leaders that are leading us and those that are in the township who are progressive. We're educated in township school.
Yes.
And our kids are going there. All they acquire is English. They are not employed. Some can't even, sustain themselves beyond the first year at university. So it's not about English. It's about the quality of education that you must give to your. And it's another debate. It's a debate that you must have and face and confront it, because this is what we're running away from. So we're taking our problems, we're pushing it to other people. All right? And it does not end there. The question is, what values are imparted to our kids when they're there? And that is why what we have seen, most of the girls who are from ex-Molisi school, they're smoking, which is something that is foreign.
Yes.
In our township schools, you can't find them, but they are smoking. And they start drinking very early because they see the educators there and they think it is cool to smoke as girls.
Yes.
So you see, we much as we're looking at the brighter side of it, there are some ills that comes with it that come to affect us. The worst that is an embarrassing thing. It's when we have our own funerals, weddings. Our kids can't pronounce their surnames.
They can't read.
You say they go and read the reads.
They can't read.
It's embarrassing. Because the first thing that a child acquires when the child is born is the language.
Yes.
Now, if a child is able to speak English fluently and unable to speak Xhosa, Tsonga, Zulu, Tswana, then there's something wrong with this nation. There's something wrong.
Like the other,
if you can't say sit tall and you say sit hole, that's the problem.
Like the lady that you hired.
Come on. So I'm saying in short, let's be proud of who we are as Africans.
Yeah.
And it starts with the language. Before you master other languages, you must master your own mother tongue and be proud of it.
Yes.
Because our languages are now inferior to the second language, which is English and Afrikaans. Why is that? It's because of course that thing. And it's embarrassing. Some of our grannies can English. And you leave your grandchildren or your kids with your there's a communication, the barrier.
Yes.
In your own home, excuse me. Something is wrong with us. And that shows that we are not proud of who we are as a people.
Mr. Boloshe, you said it also. Yes. We are educated now. I think our viewers also can listen to this one. This is very important. Let's go to Master of Ceremony, MC.
Yes, sir.
First, knowing that MC thing is a side hustle to you, how do you balance your time between your job and MC?
I'm fortunate that most of the time choral music it's over the weekend.
Yeah.
That's one. Two, the South African School Choral I stayed for, the APC Mutsipe, it's over the school holidays, but it's part of the program in my sector where I work. So the like I tell you now, I'm going to Eastern Cape over the weekend.
Yes.
And I'm coming back in the morning. I think first and foremost is to understand the role that you play. And that's why I always say to people, I'm in that space not to compete with anybody.
Yes.
I aspired the late Dr. J.Z.M. Sambo while I was still a child.
Yeah.
I could not understand what was that old man doing. And the first time I was taken to National Choir Festival at the Standard Bank Arena, I was coerced forcefully to be in that competition by the very conductor that I said created the love for choral music, Mr. Gabriel Kumete, who was singing in the Dave Tornado choir then. You know, when I saw that old man, and how he was in the calling order, I at times would run away. So you know Mkula, how he was. He's quite a legend. May his soul rest in peace. But he developed a love for me because I was in public speaking. Look, to me, program directing is first understanding who invites you for what.
Okay.
And understanding that it's not about you. You are not part of the actors there. The main character in choral music is the choir and the conductor.
Yes.
And the other components that are imperative is the educators and the audience. So if you understand how to facilitate those 3 or 4 components, then you understand. Because every time I get invited, I ask the organizers, what are the objectives of the competition or of the event, so that I'm able to fit into and be able to drive and promote and articulate exactly what you want to achieve. So that it's not about Boloshe, it's I'm in this competition, there are different set of rules. There are common, generic aspects of program directing and the rest. But these people will want you to program direct and drive and control and direct this program, the manner in which they aspire the competition to run. So balancing it's every time I get invited, I look at my program, I ask all the necessary competition questions, transportation, issues of the performance fee, issues of accommodation, issues of the magnitude of the event, choirs that are there, sections that are going to be expected in the competition, the repertoire that is there. And if I'm working with somebody, I want to check. And at times I need their phone numbers to communicate with them. That is why I had no problem with anybody that was introduced. I mean, last year in the Tswane, I was giving to a young lad, a boy and a girl. I worked, harmoniously with them. And that's where I want to see myself, to be part of developing up and coming program directors. So that one day when we're not around, this genre is able to have people who understand clearly how to program direct choral music.
That comes to my next question, but my
apologies. That's like I indicated. That's my weakness. Maybe I was supposed to be a prophet.
Program directing to a person, not just say a program director. Is it a God-given talent, or there's a course academically that you have to do?
To a certain extent, I would say it's an inborn God-given talent to a certain extent, but to choral music is a different ball game altogether. There's no insensitive audience like the choral music audience. I all of us had our own, challenges, where we nearly lost it. I remember at 2010 we were at the Standard Bank Arena. My first appearance in the National Choir Festival was 2010 we at Bloemfontein when we introduced. I think we were 2 at the time, working with Upwood Patco. So the following year we came to Standard Bank Arena, which I know it to be the home of the National Choir Festival on Mutual. So I was program directing. I remember very well. I need to remind Israeli Chadal choir conductor Tim. So the modus operandi that year was that the people were responding for lightning.
Yes.
They would switch off the lights
Okay.
from the side of the audience,
Yeah.
and leave the stage.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
so I then develop when the lights go, they go boom.
Yes.
They're off.
Yes.
The audience goes shh, right?
Yes.
Then I introduce the choir. So we gained accustomed to that, you know. So it was flowing nice for me until Zwelitsha Adult Choir came on stage, right? I move with the same sequence, right? I would check first with the educators. Educators, are you ready?
Yeah.
Then there will be a signal. Because it was dark, they will hit a glass with a spoon. No? Then you get that signal.
Yeah.
Now I went, conductor, over to you. Right? When the now, you know, Zwelitsha Adult Choir is in the same category with your Kopano
Gauteng,
chorus,
chorus,
Gauteng,
yeah,
chorus,
yeah,
you know.
yeah.
So banepava,
Yes,
you know?
yes.
So it was tense and the suspense was so high. Now, when Storms was about to conduct, then I got another signal from the educators.
Educators,
And they were using lamps on their tables. See, that's the only light you would see
Yes.
protruding from the audience side.
Yes, yes.
Now, they indicated that no,
Class.
stop the choir. And I then said, conductor, please, yay, yay. The audience nearly jumped on me. And I thought that was it. But being God, you know, and every time I want to share the secret. When I go to a competition a week before, 2 weeks before, like South African School Choral, I embark on a 2 weeks prayer session. Every 3 a.m. I wake up and pray. Pray for the choirs, I pray for the organizers, I pray for conductors, I pray for everybody who's part of the music setup.
Yes.
And I think that's what has assisted me, has empowered me and enhanced my skill in program directing is that I don't depend on myself.
Yeah.
I depend on the Holy Spirit to guide me. And before I ascend the stage, the same, you won't believe how many times I pray when I'm on stage for the conductor, the choir, and myself to be able to, even the educators.
Yes.
So I'm like actively involved and participating
Yes,
in the whole thing spiritually. And when I'm about to stand, you know, at times when you find that it's a long section and you feel now the audience is losing it and it's gonna be tense, your Kopano chorus, your Gauteng choristers, they're coming.
They're still
now
coming,
you know you're going to lose your audience in terms of them being disciplined, you know, and you pray. And I think program directing goes with the experience.
Okay.
Particularly if you are prepared to learn. Every competition is a different competition.
Yes,
I need to say that.
Yes.
Every province is a different province. You know, what is good with Sasuke, and people always compare all the components. I said, with Sasuke, you have all the components you need. From organizing, you've got coordinators from provinces, they've got their teams. In the wall, you've got floor managers, doorkeepers, you know, you've got stage managers, you know. So everybody's there and they are actively involved. So it makes the program director's life easy.
The flow,
Now, in other competition, those things are absent. And that is why I needed to say it becomes unfair that people will expect, therefore, the same performance of a program director in a national SASTE competition to be the same in other when these components are not there. And they can make or break a program director. So to me, you acquire this experience and you begin to understand the provincial dynamics, the competition dynamics of different competition, you know. And once you then, even the treatment that is there, things that happen behind the scene, at times they could make you to walk away. But because you are a professional, because you are part of this genre, and you want to defend it, you want to promote it, you want the dignity and integrity of it to prevail, so that people must not take choral music as one of the, you know, the by the way in the genres. We're taking it serious because the people that are involved are people who are highly, qualified,
Yes.
who are professionals in their own right. We have studied choral music, some have studied conducting. So then you then bring into a hall a diverse kind of personnel that has expertise in different components of the competition. Your adjudicators, if you look at their resume, it will humble you. Some of the conductors that are conducting, some of them have studied music.
Yes.
Some have got masters,
Exactly.
And some of the choristers, by the way, are working in universities. Some are reverends in different churches, and therefore you draw into the competition those kind of people, and therefore your decorum cannot be overemphasized. So program directing, to me, if you're lucky, you acquire it through the experience from different invitations that you've had previously. But if you take it serious, you listen to different program directors and you understand different events, because a funeral, a choral music, at the lower level, choral music as you go up is different. So the audience and the stage becomes bigger, and it goes with the experience that you have. And you treat people with respect. I always say, if you respect yourself, they're going to reciprocate that. People are going to respect you back. How you talk to them, how you address them, how you understand that even when you are reaching the peak of the competition and people are excited, and you find, the difficult thing is that when you have a competition of people who just sang early hours of the morning, now they went through their cooler box, and their cooler box are in a hall. Now we are not addressing that person. You are addressing three people in one person. One a chorister, two who's a supporter of the choir on stage, three who's intoxicated. So you need to compete with them. So if you, as a program director, you don't understand those things, that's why most of the people fail, because they lose it. They become themselves instead of understanding that these people are challenging you in your capacity as a program director, and your responsibility is to make them to be quiet when there's a choir stage.
Then Mongezi, there's a comedian, there's a program director. Both are carrying that humor. Because a program director, which is more like similar to a comedian, because banala language yala humor, Then, in the difference between these two, comedian and program director.
I'm saying you'd be lucky if you are blessed with singing, having a sense of humor, and doing program directing. You need to interchangeably utilize all three. You must know when to sing, you must know when to crack jokes, you must know when to be formal and be firm. I saying it comes with experience. Look, I know when to sing.
Yes.
Right? I know when to crack a joke.
Yes.
You cannot crack a joke, and I always tell people, leave conductors and choirs alone. We are not allowed to comment about the choir performance or the choir uniform. At times, say, "Oh, beautiful uniform." You end there. You don't say, "I think choir so and so must slay." No.
Yes.
You say beauty. You see, and if the conductor is, this is how a conductor dresses. You don't say not like. No. You make people to feel good. Remember what you're doing. You're promoting the genre.
Yes.
You are showing people that choral music is about to quoting and nothing else. And this is what I want you. So you need to understand when there are challenges.
Yes.
During the presentation, and there's load shedding in terms of the performance, and the choir stops. What do you do? What do you say? How do you instill the confidence in the choir as well as the conductor, but while controlling the audience and while putting the educators at ease? Remember, they were busy at work.
Yes.
And they lose one note or a bar, and the whole performance collapses. How do you maintain stability so that there's sustainability? How to ensure that there's no disjuncture of the competition, right? So that you are the driver, right? And immediately you show up. What do you say first? And others will be laughing. Others who are vowing for this choir will be disturbed, losing hope. The educators will be like, oh, come on. When I think this is the best choir, you come in and close that gap, right? To instill. Say, conductor, relax, don't worry, these things happen. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give them another round of applause. Let's empower them. Let's encourage them. Then the choir feels at ease. Then you say, conductor, take your time. Collector Choral will indicate where you start. While they are busy, you then say, God is good. They say all the time. You keep people so that they forget about the event that has just happened. The accident that is there. Then when the conductor is told, start from bar, then you say, conductor, take your time. Take your time, my brother. My sister, take your time. Choristers, let's give them another. You show that in this competition, we respect people who took their time to rehearse, to travel, and are here to give us their best. All we could do is to cheer them up, appreciate them, and defend this genre. So at all material times, so you'll know when to use the joke, you'll know when to sing, and at times people are singing. How you control the singing, right? Because others will sing for a long time because the choir is still coming in. Others are not, they cannot sustain their singing, but they'll time you. And once you say now, thank you very much, but you allow the other audience to sing the choir, we demand the same. So you've got to be consistent.
Especially on national level.
You need to be consistent.
From different provinces.
I mean, when you say, ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for COP? And before you even finish the sentence, the song has started. Gauteng choristers, Zwelicha, you name them. The big names, particularly in the live section. So you need to flow. There's going to be versatility and flexibility that is expected from you. Move with the competition flow, right? Don't be static and rigid. Be flexible. Somebody's going to scream somebody's name during the performance. Let it slide. At the right and appropriate time, address it. But as a program director, don't ever be direct to a member of the audience.
Yes.
If you have picked somebody who said something unpalatable, you don't directly open a dialogue. You'd lose yourself. Because that person is going to charge you. You're going to be compelled to say things that you'll regret, and that will deal with your character, and it will assassinate your character. So you need to interchangeably, know when to use what at what stage. The competition, you can see that people are now, exhausted. You bring some music, you bring some jokes, while the educators, are busy finalizing, or there's a technicality, you come in, you bring, and people becomes at ease. But I always say, how you master that, you need to master it at the beginning, right at the beginning of the introducing yourself. You create a relationship with the audience, a rapport, so that they know you.
They know you,
and how you react. Others, they tell them, this is how I want us to react. And before the hall is full, those who are there, they go in, they become in swing with you. By the time the others join, they understand this one, you have set a tone.
Yes. Let's talk about the importance of understanding different languages when you MC. I think itibane nobu MC because there's different provinces on national with different languages.
That is why I'm saying a seasoned program director, the organizers will tell you. I even ask, how do you pronounce this surname? At times I even call the conductor. Hey, say, please, how do you say your surname?
Yes.
It's important. There's nothing that, when conductors are on stage, they become nervous wreck. They are emotionally challenged.
Yeah.
And the only thing you can do for them is to support them and not add. You see?
Yes.
So I normally either ask the organizers, or stage usherers, or to even call the one of the choristers to say, how do you pronounce the name of your choir? It's not embarrassing. You show that you are not perfect.
Yeah.
But it is important to call people by their names. There are still conductors that even today I still struggle to pronounce them. And even some accompanists, they would laugh at me. And now they have accommodated me because I tried. They will tell me now I practice, then I turn to something else. When I say boom, yes, this name. It's like I would want to go and say it again by the name. No. So it's important.
Yeah.
If you check with me with your Italian what I don't even go there. Bembe taught me something that say the first words, right? Now they're singing.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Don't say everything because the pronunciation is difficult.
Yes.
And you are not a fundi when it comes to that language. So say it. If you have the opportunity, get to somebody who knows, practice it. So practice makes perfect. So you always learn. Like I'm saying, if you are prepared to learn, you learn at all material times. And it's important to learn the different languages, particularly the names of the song, the names of the composers, conductors' names, the names of the choirs. Because really, at times it sounds like it's disrespectful and it becomes unpalatable if you pronounce people wrong. I've seen with white people, you pronounce their name and they don't respond.
Yeah.
But they pronounce our surnames in the way they want, and we don't take offense. But they take offense. They will pretend as if he's not hearing what you're saying until you pronounce it. If not, he's going to correct you right on spot, and you get embarrassed. But I think you can do yourself, and that is why, therefore, the importance of getting programs before the day or early in the morning if you are to travel. And it's important to have a briefing session with the organizers. That
the competition.
One cannot overemphasize because it's part of your preparation. It's important to even go to the mic and test whether the mic is working.
Yes.
There's nothing, but I once in some
so
years...
So it's important for MC to be there in time.
You see, you need to take the list of the things that you must utilize.
Okay.
Where are the restrooms, for instance? How far are they from the podium? So that if there's a call of nature and the choir is on stage, you quickly,
Yes.
And it's worse when you're alone. So you need to know those things, and other people would not understand or take them as things that are so trivial. They're important to me. You must know even the educators, meet them, introduce yourself, know who to liaise with, so that you don't get everybody coming to stage and then giving you, notes. Hey, can you announce this baker is open, people are stealing bread, which is not part of the competition. I don't announce those things. Hey, can you announce tell Matlakala Sipo is looking for you? It's not part of the competition. The car with this following registration, your windows are up, please. I've got important things. We're running a competition. It's not a church event.
If it's going to rain, my car is there with
please, man. Please. No, you come and you're looking for your girlfriend. You want me to announce, tell Matlakano Sipo is looking for you. Please. And that's why I want organizers to give me instruction. And I must have one person that I liaise with. If I liaise with the quality assurer for educators, I mean not educators. At times when I train program directors, I tell them, look at the people, look at the whole table of education, right?
Yes.
Not once. Repeat the name of the choir. When the choir is about to ascend the stage, repeat the name of the choir that's descending the stage. Repeat the name of the choir that is ascending, the section, the name of the conductor, until they are on stage. Repeat it again.
Yes.
This is the section, large section, African. This choir is here to render this piece prescribed for this section. The name of the choir is this, the province is this, the name of the conductor is second time. Then you look at your
I
educators
don't mention
and
that.
repeat it again.
Why don't you mention the name of the composer?
No, you can mention.
Oh, you can mention.
You can mention. It depends. At times, composers are not written.
Okay,
Yes,
on
the name of the
program,
song,
okay.
the composer is not mentioned. You see,
okay.
even if we don't do it because you might misconstrue it to be somebody else, then you confuse people. Repeat those things; they're important. Why? The educators are not, writing at the same pace.
Yes.
The speed is different.
Yes.
Others are quick, right, to write their remarks. Others, they are still finalizing. They want this bar which they need to comment on, right? And when the choir descend the stage, others are completing their remarks. So you must remember to announce the choir that's descending the stage, right? Because it might assist that educator.
Yeah.
And when he or she is done, he now gets the next set of educators' remarks. You repeating 3 times, you are assisting. That's why at times they look at you and point at the choir. They're saying, what is the name of the choir? Now, to make it easy and it becomes a systemic thing, you repeat it 3 times. And when you have let the audience to settle down and be quiet, repeat it for the last time. Educators, ladies and gentlemen, on stage we have this. Maybe it's for the 4th time. Why? Somebody was coming in, he's just settled down, he's got the program. He wants to know what section and which choir is on stage. You are assisting. So you are facilitating. You become this announcer that keeps at all time updating the members of the audience, the educators, even the recorders.
Yeah.
That's quite important. So I always emphasize on those things. Then it makes it easier to pronounce properly and to assist people that are there.
Let's talk about Sasuke now. Just once. We had a competition at Sasuke for a very long time now.
Yes.
I don't know if it's going forward or it's in the same place. I think you can tell me because you're also part of education.
Look, it has grown in leaps and bounds, and I think it has become one of the important competition, if you are to put it that way. It's one of the best competition in the country when it comes to choral music. Because it draws and it develops and it identifies young talent and exposes them.
Yeah.
When we started, we had sections that were there which were intended to amalgamate the different nationalities and accommodate the schools in the DPE setup. Your ex-Molsey school, you remember there was an African section,
Yes.
which was treated under the open section, which was saying we are together, we can sing together in one voice, different languages. But I think in terms of the political dynamics and certain people who are anti-progress of this country, they influence those schools otherwise, and we have since seen a demise of the visibility of ex-Molsey school, particularly the African schools, which that section was intended for them. And what we then saw is our African schools in the township taking over the Africans, which then lost the intention that it was meant for. And that is the one area that I'll think we might have took a nosedive when it comes to it. However, the other section, I think we have grown, and to an extent that we now know that the serious contestation, particularly the opera section.
Yes.
You would never thought a boy from the township would sing. I mean, from areas like Mpumalanga, you'll never have your pretty enders of this world. And that to me it was a good brainchild of the competition that it exposes, or it exposed the learners to opera singing, to an extent that now in schools you find that it even instilled discipline and pride in those learners that are singing there, and most of the schools have taken up that section, because a few schools used to be keen to it, because it became something that was sophisticated and foreign to. But if we're to look at the level of the competition, I think we're growing every year. Now that we are seeing new schools that are reaching the nationals, it tells you that. But the concern that we have, remember, the competition at lower levels, particularly at school and district level, it was intended for mass participation. Because not every child will go to Rema. But we must ensure that at school level, at district level, we have more schools that are participating, so that we're able to unearth the talent of choral music, but over and above, address other aspects of being a gentleman, being a lady. Because when they come to choral music, you look at how they dress, you look at those who are singing opera, how they carry themselves. And even after the competition, it becomes a status to become a chorister in a school. But it teaches them a lot of things: to keep time, to be disciplined, teamwork, because they must sing as a part, as tenors, And if you go to the Sasuke platform on Facebook, you listen to the stories that are there, then you see that people have been conscientized to be aware and to be proud of the gender, to be actively involved, and some of them wants to be conductors. But like I'm saying, the only challenge that we're faced with, which was one aspect of the competition, to deal with development. We, in schools where we had older conductors who are retiring, we are losing those schools because there was no succession plan that was embarked on to pass the skill and to ensure that you have a second and third layer of conductors, or a generation of conductors in that particular school. And I think we have failed dismal when it comes to that. And hence, in some school you ask, what happened to this school? You realize, no, it's either the conductor is at the district, or the conductor had gone to another school, or the conductor is retired. And they take with them that rich information that we needed to keep in that particular school for, like I'm saying, the second and third layer of conductors, so that the up and coming and newly introduced educators who are novice can be able to confidently take up a choir and know how to start a choir, how to teach voice singing, how to teach part singing, and ultimately the entire choir. And I think it's one aspect that we need to venture into and begin to come up with strategies as to how to address it, so that we don't see a demise of choirs that we know that every year they were actively participating in the competition. And also to understand that at those lower level, it's not about the competition, but it's about creating a platform and giving an opportunity for learners to find themselves. Because some of them may not necessarily even go to the regional or district level, but for given them a chance to move out of the school and drive to a hall and the whole day listen, and you don't know what it does to those kids, particularly primary school kids. It instills a sense of belonging to the school and be proud of their performance in school. And they love the school, and it promotes the love to be at school and to be actively involved, not be confined into the four walls of the classroom. So to me, it is one aspect that I think the organizers and ourselves need to find time and space to extensively engage on these matters, to how do we ensure sustainability, particularly at the lower levels, or the fundamental, or the district and school level, at those elementary stages of the competition, so that we ensure that when you and I are not here as program directors, we have left a legacy, and there are people that are taking after us, and to take the competition to great heights. But my observation is that yes, indeed, we everybody talks about it has become an annual event. Important. When people do their patches, they know we need to patch it for Saske. I mean, you take people from Eastern Cape. Those are the people that I know. They are organized and they come in numbers, and it has become a culture, if not a tradition, that without which it's like what happened to NCF when there was a demise of NCF. Some of us were like, we lost some part, some limbs of our bodies, and everybody, hey, it was like a disaster. It was very catastrophic, to say the least. So I think the competition so far is doing well. It's doing well.
Yeah, I had to interview Nolishe. Then last year we had the opportunity of sichikele ngapha eBek apha kwenziwa khona yonke into apha kufotshwa khona age what.
Lord.
There's also an issue of transgender. There were ladies also want to sing in a male voice choirs. There were boys also want to sing in female voice choirs.
That those are new dynamics, and I think it's interesting.
And this was not easy at the back to allow them.
It wasn't easy. Look, I think what we need to realize that there's an elephant in the room, and the biggest elephant is this competitiveness of the competition creates forgery.
Yes.
If you have been involved in school sports, you would see this thing.
Yes.
And that's what kills the talent in the country. And I think it must be part of the music seminars that are conducted to speak to the conscience and the heart of the conductors. First, as parents. Secondly, as educators. And thirdly, as conductors. Because I think what the emphasis is more on conducting and winning at all cost than realizing the repercussions thereof of killing these kids by taking 21 kids who are at the college and depriving those who are rightfully at school, who are supposed to be rightfully in that choir. And to me, conductors who are teachers must understand that it's a misconduct. That is Section 17 of the Employment of Educators Act. Any forgery is a dismissible misconduct. So I think we need, from the perspective of education, to understand that we are employees. And therefore we are role models, we are parents. We can't teach kids
to cheat.
Because that's what there's no best explanation for it. It's cheating and it's committing a serious misconduct in terms of the Employment of Educators Act. And therefore one would discourage it, and condemn it in the strongest possible terms. And we have seen these things, and it's only that at times we don't announce, because we let the choir to sing for the sake of the kids. But what have you done to those kids? What have you done? Those who are saying we rather lose with what we have and lose with confidence and pride than we lose because you went out. And I don't think we need such conductors in this competition. Those are not parents. It's as good as teachers who are falling in love with kids. We don't need those. Those are not parents. They're pedophiles. So in choral music, we equate that to people who are pedophiles, because we are killing the genre. It's about you. It's not about the kids. Because if it's about the kids, for them to reach the provincial, even the district level, it's a huge achievement. Because next year you are guaranteed more learners in that school who will want to go and sing in the choir. They are not concerned about the trophies.
Exactly.
The opportunity. And some of them, by the way, they discover the talent that they were not aware of. So you have open avenues for them to pursue choral music. Now, what are you doing when you emphasize competition and winning? You are telling people that choral music is about winning. You're not telling people choral music, first and foremost, it's about enjoyment. It's about the maths that is there. The quarters, the halves. It's mathematics. It's about, expanding their knowledge, And if people could look at it from that perspective, I think we'll defend the dignity of this genre, because those people are not role models. They're not interested in promoting choral music. They're about themselves and their names and their status, and not the respect that it should be, afforded to their schools where they come from, and the dignity and the motivation and confidence that we must give to these kids. I think we need to condemn it with the strongest possible terms. It's unacceptable. It's a misconduct. It's killing and undermining this gender. And I don't want to see one day the department saying we're not going to sponsor this thing, and it might make us to lose sponsors, and we don't need, and we need to be vigilant against all those conductors, and
we need that foundation
just to eradicate this cancer that is trying to undermine the good work that is we're doing as conductors and choral people in England in choral music. So really, one cannot find words to really. It's just despicable to say the least.
Yes. Last but not least, who's the best MC you ever shared stationary? Every day given a chance.
As you'd go and wake and go to the grave and take the Dr. JZM Sam. He's my mentor, but I enjoyed working with Putmafan. We made a good team. But to me, those are the two that I've ever worked with. Unfortunately, the relationship that was still establishing with the late Ukoyo, it just was short-lived. But he was coming to the fore. We also worked harmoniously with him. But working for a long time with Dr. JZM Sambo was something that was out of this. I learned a lot. I learned a lot under his wing, and taking care of him off stage was one thing that I think has blessed me to be this program director, because I learned humbleness. I learned to embrace and to respect people's conditions and to appreciate and respect the good side of them. With Padko, with parties.
I know.
With parties and I would work with him. I enjoyed working. We just team up, and it is somebody that is friendly and always willing, And one thing that I want to say as a parting shot is to the upcoming program directors: don't emulate any program director. Be yourself. Be yourself. Do you? Don't try to fake it. Be original. Respect the audience, respect yourself. Choral music, whether program director or conductor, chorister or educator, it's about presentation. How you present yourself, how you present your song, how you present your educator's remarks, It's even the audience that comes there. It's about coding, it's about class, it's about standards, it's about ladies and gentlemen, the attire and the dress code. It's something that we cannot overemphasize. We're not saying Lavabas are margins, they're not accepted, but you look at those who respect this gender, they dress for it. Conductors go out of their way to readjust their budget because they respect the gender. They know when you're on stage, you need to be presentable, you need to defend the gender. So to me, don't ever try to be like Dr. JZM Sambo. He was in his class of his own, in his own generation, and he started this thing. To me, he's an epitome of program directing and the pinnacle of knowledge when it comes to this. And Padko was there, and in his old, you remember the wave, the choral music wave, which was uniquely done by Padko, and no one came to repeat the emulating. And to me, if we could all develop in our own way as we are gifted by God and to us, you'll never have problems. But once you try to emulate other people, you're going to lose it, because people are going to pick and you'll be found wanting, and they will correct you. No, this is not how you say it. But once you become yourself and be relaxed, as long as you promote the aspirations and objectives of the organizers and defend choral music and respect conductors and the audience, I think definitely you'd go a long way of becoming a prominent and respected program director.
Mr. Boloshe, thank you for your time. Thank you for squeezing us on your busy schedule. We know you are a very busy man.
I'm humbled.
Special now.
I'm humbled.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
humbled.
yeah. And we wish you a good luck going forward. And a Eastern Cape. nakhona ufike ubabonise.
Yeah, pass your politics. We have a mandate, but definitely
Yes,
while
yes.
we're enjoying choral music, but we have a mandate to defend
Yes, yes,
what
yes.
we worked hard for and not to reverse the gains, definitely. So that's the whole thing, to promote choral music, but to be able to understand us as a people and what is at stake and what needs to be defended. That cannot be over inside. And we're unapologetic about it. You see, at times people think they would chastise us and patronize us on wrong things. We are what we are,
Yes.
brought up in that organization, and we need to defend it. We are unapologetic.
yes.
When it's fashionable for other people, it's not fashion to us. It's about the lives and the livelihood of our people. So one cannot, stop thinking about Sunday. I'm looking forward to it. While you listen to choral music and driving the message home so that the people do the right thing.
Yeah.
No, but thank you very much. I'm really humbled and I appreciate the opportunity given to me. I don't take it for granted. It's always a pleasure to be part of this setup and interviews. And I hope in the long run that people are going to deduce the intelligence that we're trying to share with them, so that we're able to contribute to their upbringing, so that they are able to fund themselves. And maybe, who knows, one day they must become better than us, because that's all what we are aspiring for, to produce people who are going to surpass us. But it's a pleasure for having me. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Boloshe.
Enkosi kakhulu.